Welcome to Relationship Bootcamp, learning how to show real love. My name is Pastor Kendall Granger, and I am super excited that you have selected and elected to get yourself involved in this Bible study series. If you have access, it will be greatly enhance your study if you have the sermon series that goes along with this study. Our memory verse for today, for this session, is found in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 3, the B clause. And I love what it says by the Message paraphrase. It says this: "So, no matter what I say, what I believe, and what I do, I am bankrupt without love." See, learning how to show real love is the major thing that we need to learn how to do. As a matter of fact, the Bible can be summarized in one word. The one word that summarizes the whole Bible, when it all boils down to it, is the word relationships. Relationships and love are those words, is the word that boils everything down. If you have solid relationships and you are able to love people, then you can be successful in whatever you want to do. There are three reasons why love needs to be your number one priority. Well, write this down. Number one, love is the supreme value of life. The supreme value of life. Do you know that every one of us, we have values, and those values dictate what we do and what we don't do, where we go and where we don't go. And so when we understand that our values control our life, and God says your number one value in life should be love, then it changes everything. See, if I value money more than I value people, then it's going to dictate how I treat people, where I go, where I don't go, what I do, what I don't do. And so it's important that we understand that love should be our number one and our supreme value. Look what the Bible says in Matthew chapter 22, verse 37 through 39, the New Living Translation. Jesus replied, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself." Love God, love your neighbor, love people. Somebody said, "Well, who's your neighbor? Is it the person who stays next door to you?" Yeah. Is it the people that live in the neighboring city? Yeah. The people that live in the neighboring state? Yeah. The next door nation? Yes. And if there are people on other planets, people are your neighbors. And God says the number one value is to love Him and love people. For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. That's Galatians 5:14. See, what I want you to get out of this lesson, one of the things I want you to get out of this lesson is this: human love has a limit and it wears off, but God's love never ends. And so when we allow God to love people through us, then we're keeping His command. We're being obedient to Him. The second point I want you to get today is not only is that love it should be your supreme value, but number two, love is your primary objective of life. The primary objective of life is to love, not to make money, not to get married, not to have big houses and cars. There's nothing wrong with any of those things, but your major objective of life should be love. See, the Bible goes on to say that if I don't live a life of love, then nothing I say will matter. Look what 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1 says. "I could speak with all the languages of earth and of angels, but if I didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal." See, words without love is worthless. Letter B, write this down. If I don't live a life of love, then nothing I know matter. The Bible says it like this in 1 Corinthians 13:2. "If I have the gift of prophecy and if I understand all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, but didn't love others, I would be nothing." See, intelligence without love equals zero. If I don't live a life of love, then nothing I believe will matter. Nothing I believe will matter. The Bible says this in 1 Corinthians 13, chapter 2, the B clause. If I had such faith that I could move mountains, but didn't love others, I would be nothing. Faith without love does not matter. Letter D. Letter D. Letter D. If I don't live a life of love, nothing I give would matter. Nothing I give would matter. Write that down. See, if I give everything I own to the poor and even go to the stake to be burned as a martyr, but I don't love, I've got nowhere. So no matter what I say, what I believe, or what I do, I am bankrupt without love. A person can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving. Let me say that again. A person can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving. And so here's the point. Just because you give a lot away does not mean that you love others. So in this Bible study series, if you can hang with us for the next 6 sessions, we're going to help you understand how to show real love to the people in your life. Letter E, if I don't live a life of love, nothing I accomplish will matter. Nothing I accomplish will matter. The Bible says so. No matter what I say, no matter what I believe, no matter what I do, I am bankrupt without love. Relationships are more important than accomplishments. Relationships are more important than accomplishments. And so once we get that under our belt, so to speak, it changes our whole perspective, because love matters most. Number 3, the third point I want to give you today is that love is the greatest power in your life. Love is the greatest power in your life. Write that down. See, 1 Corinthians 13:13 says it like this. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. See, when I talk to people who are on their deathbed, it seems like when people know that they're dying, it seems like they start to really understand what life is really about and what's the most important things. It's all of a sudden like this revelation comes over them in those last moments of life, where they began to realize the best things in life is not things, it's love. Not once have a person said to me, hey, would you call somebody and have them bring my diploma so I can see it again? Or, hey, would you pull my car up to the window so I can look at that nice car again? You know, could you bring my passport book so I can see how much money I have in my portfolio? No, what people want at their last days is their loved ones, the people they care about. And so I don't want you to wait till your last moments to realize this. The Bible's very clear that love is the greatest power in our lives. And so to deepen our study, what I want you to do is I want you to kind of go through the questions we have set up for you. Then we have some discussion questions. And then there's some action steps that I want you to do together. Now, some of the things you can do as a group is attend church together, you know, because the sermon series is going to give you more insight than just the Bible study alone. And the Bible study is going to give you more insight than just the sermon series alone. They really work together. So what would it look like for you guys to come to a service together and get your notes together and then use that in the Bible